What's up, guys? And today we will be taking a look at the GP1 season finale race, Abu Dhabi. Today we have an interesting scenario. We have, if I can just pull up the results. Going into today's race, we have an interesting scenario. We have Excel Tin Can and JR Lattice both fighting it out to see who will become this season's Drivers' Champion. Whichever one wins the race will hopefully be the Drivers' Champion. So we will be getting underway with 30-minute practice soon enough, as soon as all the drivers are in the lobby. We should be getting underway very soon, guys. Just waiting on the last 4 drivers, I believe. We should be good to go. Taking a quick look at the teams for today, we have F1 X-Gen and Johnny Stokes in the Mercedes. We're still waiting on the 2 Ferrari drivers. We have Avi84 GT and his soon-to-be teammate in the Aston Martin. We have Hudso Joy in the McLaren. We're just waiting on his teammate. We have XL Tin Can and Wumax 1 in the Renaults. We have Can't Be Touched and Scotty in the AlphaTauris. We have Carl Fraud 983 in the Racing Point. We have Rob Sim Racer and Villeneuve in the Alfa Romeo. We have Al Judafa and Lewis Williams in the Haas. And to round off the grid, we will have JR Lattice and that guy Al X in the Williams. And hopefully this will be a very interesting finale race. And hopefully very soon I will be joined by my co-commentator for this last race, Mask Baron. He should be back in and around for the eventual qualifying. Looks like we're just about ready to get underway. Hopefully some more of the drivers enter just before the quali starts. And our first driver out on the track today is Lewis Williams, starting it out on the mediums, trying to get accustomed to the very difficult Abu Dhabi track. It's a good exit onto the back straight. He's warming the tyres at the moment. We have Hudso Joy also coming out on the mediums. Guys will be trying to set a few competitive laps in this practice, get a feel for the track. We've also got Rob Sim Racer also out. She's opted for the hards, probably going to put in a few extra laps just to get more accustomed to the track before the full quali. Also have that guy Alex, taking a bit of an adventurous route over the curbs. He's come out on the mediums. A bit of an interesting line he just took there. We've a few cars out on track at the moment. Big lock up from Booker. Let's quickly switch to Lewis and see how he's getting on in his actual first lap for this practice session. Big lock up there. Gets a decent go at the straight here. Opens his DRS. It's decent 2 corners from himself there. coming to the very difficult sector 3. Very difficult to chain all these corners together. We'll see how he gets on. These are some very good exits from himself. Oh, and he's just ran a little bit wide coming to the end of the lap. And he goes 1:41, setting the current fastest lap on the grid. We'll see now if that stays that way for long. We've Rob out on a lap here on the hards. I think he's invalidated his first actual proper lap. We'll get back to him eventually. With that guy Alex coming up on a lap here on the mediums. Coming straight through this very difficult sector 3. It's very difficult to chain it all together and get it right, but once you do, you're on for a decent lap. Shifting through the gears nicely. Good go around. And he sets a 1:39.9. We've just had Hudso Joy just set a 1:39.4. Probably very pleased with that lap on the mediums. He's just gone purple in sector 2. Could be on for an even faster lap here. Good exit. A little bit of a lock up on the brakes there as he comes round to the final 2 corners. Manages to keep the car on the track. Oh, Lewis has had an off. Yep, and he does in fact better his time by 0.6 and sets a 1:38.8. And there's 2 laps on his mediums. See how Rob is getting on after his first invalidation. Just coming round to these last 3 corners. These hards are, they can be very difficult. Oh, he's ran very wide there. Hards on Abu Dhabi can be very hard to get used to proper cornering. And he sets a 1:43.7. Probably not the most happiest lap Rob will set today. Hopefully he can go a little bit faster. We have Al Judafa down here. On a lap, I think. Yep, he is. Let's see what he can set. See if he can beat Hudso Joy. Everyone seems to be at the moment taking these corners in sector 3 very nice. And as he comes around the last corner, he'll be setting a 1:39.6. He goes second fastest on the grid so far out of all the cars that are currently running in this practice session on track. Oh, and F1 X-Gen has just set a very, very good lap. 1:38 flat, or near enough flat, on the hards there. I think all the medium guys will be looking to better their times if he's doing that on the hards. It's a very competitive lap on those hards, to be honest. And they're 3 laps in as well. Getting warmer. You'll be able to do more with those hards when they're actually up to proper temperature. What else do we have out on track here? We have Can't Be Touched. I think he's actually just on... Oh no, he actually is on a lap. We'll keep with him for this lap, see how he fares on these mediums. He's just gone purple in sector 1. Nice run out of the hairpin into sector 2 straight. We've had a Mercedes off in sector 3. Big lock up here from Can't Be Touched. And we've had an Alfa Romeo. I think that might be Rob. No, it's not Rob. Oh, we've had a DNF in Villeneuve on the last corner coming to the start finish. Shame we couldn't see what actually happened there. We might get a decent look here. See what happened. Oh, he by accident hit the far left barrier running into the pit stop lane. It's unfortunate. Sometimes you might clip a corner or clip the apex going into that pit lane entry, and if you do that, obviously these guys are racing on no assist. If you do that, it's very hard to recover, considering the fact how narrow Abu Dhabi's pit lane entry actually is. And Can't Be Touched actually did set a very good lap. 137 flat on those fresh mediums. It was a very good lap from himself there. Oh, and he's just invalidated there. We'll go back down to Scotty here. See how he's getting on. Oh, and he's just invalidated there. Won't be very happy now. Won't be very happy, Scotty, now with that invalidation. A few drivers still to come out and set laps here. We've Womax on the softs coming out. Let's see what he can do on the softs. Can he go better than the fellas on the hards and the mediums? Booker Bronto politely gets out of his way. He's the faster car and the faster tyre. Not the greatest of turns out of that hairpin coming to the sector 2 straight. Did well to save it. Very fast entry into these fast left rights. And good shot exit now coming into sector 3. Very good, he's rolling around the sector 3 very tight corners. And he's just ran a little bit wide there and lost control. So he'll probably be going for another lap, as that is definitely not competitive enough in the softs to be up in the top 5, I would like to think. There's Lewis Williams coming around on the mediums again. Ooh, big lock up from himself there. Oh, and he's gone into the wall. That will need a pit stop. That's big damage. He's lucky now himself there that he hasn't lost a wheel. He'll just look to get back into the pits now. Let's see now if he has the same problem that our previous driver Villeneuve had. Nope, he manages to survive. Lock up coming into the pits, and he will have to get that wing changed. It Can't Be Touched going on another lap on the mediums. Probably looking to better his time. I guarantee he is Lattice, but obviously not better than you. Sincan equals shit. I think Lattice, you need to worry about your drive today. With your Drivers' Championship on the line. Yes, Lattice, I am speaking. Thank you very much. Psychological warfare. You like to play the old mind games. Just away invalidation there, but can't be touched. Johnny Stokes is on his outlap. We'll stay with him for a minute now and see what he can do. We also have Lewis fresh out of the pits on his outlap also. See if he can survive the treacherous Sector 3. Also have Booker Bronco, he's in the pits. We have Rob on his hards. I'm guessing just trying to get acclimatized to the track, not actually looking to set a competitive top 5 lap. And we'll stick with Johnny Stokes here to see how he actually gets on with his start of his lap. Gets a good run into the Sector 1 wide right-hander. Decent exit into the Sector 2 hairpin and onto the straight. Gets a good shot at it. Comes into this tight corner here, big block up there, and gets a good run at this big long straight just before the treacherous Sector 3. Oh, thanks Lattice for putting my stream link up, by the way. I was literally about to do it. There goes Johnny Stokes now coming into Sector 3. Oh, and we've had a disqualification. Lewis for being parked in a dangerous location apparently. Yes, he's just pulled over to the side now. Didn't get to see where he actually illegally parked. Could be just an accident on track and the game hasn't allowed him the proper time to actually sort out his on track position. And we have Johnny Stokes there setting a 139, I would like to say. 138, 139? Yeah, 139. 139.4 by the looks of it. So he looked probably try and better that lap. And we have two soft runners. We have Avi, who is actually just DNF'd, and we have Wumax, who may come back out on the softs, which he is now. He's exiting the pits on the softs. Let's see what current lap times he can set on those fresh softs. So have Ears, who's also coming around on the mediums for his lap. Let's see what kind of time he will be setting. And he's just ran wide there now. Hasn't invalidated because obviously he hasn't gained any time off going off the track there. Coming into sector 3. We're not coming into sector 3, but coming into the very dangerous parts of sector 3. One wrong move and you've spun. Comes around and sets a 1:38.3. Even with running wide, still sets a very competitive lap there. Probably looked to better his time by not going off the track and costing himself a few tenths, I would imagine. And we have JR Lattis, the potential drivers' champion, coming out in his lap here on the mediums. Let's see what kind of time he will be setting. As I'm sure he will be looking to set a better time than his competitor today, XL Tin Can, who is still yet to come out on a lap. Maybe a little bit of mind games, maybe looking at JR Lattis in the pits, trying to see what he's doing. Good exit there. And down to the dangerous part now of sector 3. She negotiates very well. Oh, and just invalidates. Just got onto the wrong side of the corner there and put all four wheels unfortunately over. He'll hopefully now get on another run now and set a competitive lap. And we have F1 X-Gen setting a 1:35 on a fresh pair of mediums. That's a very good lap time there for himself. And he's coming round again in sector 3. See if he can actually better his time again. And McLaren in front of him. Hudso Joy might be slowing him up there. X-Gen manages to clear him, comes round, and unfortunately is not going to better his time on this lap. We've got Johnny Stokes also coming round. He's been out for a few laps on these mediums. Let's see if he can better his time. And unfortunately at the moment it doesn't look that likely. No, he will bail on his lap there and go into the pits and probably set maybe a new fresh mediums or maybe even softs to come out and maybe just get up into that P1 position for this practice, as JR Lattis goes over the line and sets a 1:37, I would like to think. Puts himself on P3 at the moment in the Williams. We have XL Tin Can now coming out on the outlap, the current Drivers' Champions leader. Let's see if he can set a better lap than F1 X-Gen on the mediums. And we'll see to get a grasp of what kind of pace these guys are going to be carrying into the quali and the race. Just a quick look now at the actual fastest laps overall. We've X1 F1 X-Gen, sorry, on the 135.7 on the mediums. We can't be touched on a 137.0.045. And we've Lattice setting a 137.3. Some very decent laps here on this practice session. With 5 minutes remaining, we'll see now if there's any improvements, and we'll see if there's any takeovers onto P1 for this 30-minute practice before the full quali. This Tin Can did run a little bit wide there in Sector 1, but may be able to recover this lap now. May be able to set a competitive enough time. Come round to the final stretch of Sector 2. He looks to get a little bit of a toe off the car in front. I think that's Mati Pertez in the Al Ferrari. Yes, as he comes into Sector 3 now and just invalidates on that tight corner there. I'm not sure what Morty Perez is trying to achieve there by getting in the way of XL Tin Can a little bit there. As XL Tin Can, I think, will go for another run on those mediums, if not come in and maybe fit the softs. Maybe play a little mind games instead of very fast lap. Nope, he's going to stay out and try to set another lap on those mediums. Set his first lap, actual official lap time. JR Lattice going just quicker there than Can't Be Touched as he comes in, setting a 136.9 and has a little bit of an error there in the pit lane, but doesn't, I don't think, gets any damage there. Judith setting a lap on the hards. Let's go back down to XL Tin Can. This is the lap now that we'll be looking forward to, as I think he's invalidated again. Not the greatest practice shown so far from XL Tin Can. Hopefully that won't carry over into the quali, or for Lattice's sake, hopefully it does carry over to the quali. So you could probably have a very comfortable drive to the GP1 Drivers' Championship. As he takes a ball out there. Interesting, to say the least. Oh, XL Tin Can is not having the greatest joys in his car today. So he is not negotiating any of these corners properly. And he is going to stay out on another lap and see if he can work out the rust at the minute. Comes around decent in Sector 1. As he comes into Sector 2, he has not gone purple in Sector 1 now. And we have F1 X-Gen setting another lap there, I think, on the mediums, as he goes purple with a 135.7. Marginally, I think, better than his older lap time. And Tin Can is the only driver that has not the NFT just yet to set a current lap time. So let's see if he can set a competitive lap time here on his probably last go at this. He may get another lap in on these mediums. That's a much better entry now in Sector 3 than the previous two laps. And he is slowed up. He is not going to set another lap there on the mediums by the looks of it. He is just going to not show his pace by the looks of it. Not give any of the drivers an indication as to how fast he can actually go. and he is probably going to go into the pits now and retire, as there's not enough time to get out of these pits now and actually get another lap in. And we've Scotty now showing his pace on the softs with a 1:35.5. He's coming around another lap here. We'll see if he can better his time on these softs. By the looks of it, no, he's coming in as well. He set his lap, he's showing his pace to the other current drivers on track. I think all the drivers now are not going to set another lap unless cannot be touched. Yes, he is going on a current lap. Maybe looking to put in a better lap than F1 X-Gen or Scotty on the mediums. We still have a few drivers out on track that could better their times. We have Lattice, who's going round again on the mediums, coming into the very treacherous Sector 3. Let's see what lap time he will be able to set. And he does indeed set his lap time. Sorry, I was looking at my phone. He does go 1:34.2 on those mediums. Really showing what he can do on this track. And he will be very proud of that going into the quali. Nearly put in a bit of extra pressure on XL Tin Can, as he did not set a lap at all. And only managed to get out on, I think, maybe 2 if not 3 laps. So that wraps up the 30 minutes quali, and we'll be in the full qualifying now, the first round, 18 minutes, in just a few minutes. And now we're going to get started with the quali. Let's see who comes out onto the track first. As it looks like a McLaren, if I can see there, coming out. Rob is coming out there on the softs for his first go in the qualifying. Hopefully a little better showing than the practice for our Rob. He had plenty of time on the hards to get accustomed to the track. Let's see what kind of time he can get and see if he can get out of Q1. We have a few drivers on our outlaps. We have Scotty, we have Rob, Monty Pertez, F1X Gen, Lewis, Ars, Hudso Joy, and Villeneuve. I can't pronounce his name for the life of me. Hopefully we see a better showing from Lewis and Villeneuve as they look to not DNF, unlike in practice. We've Hudso Joy by the looks of it. He is the lead car, unless there is a Renault ahead of him. I can't tell if that Renault is on an outlap. Yes, he is on an outlap. So Hudso Joy is going to lead as the first car, as he goes purple in sector 1 as to be expected. Comes around the tie hairpin and gets a good go at sector 2's straight. Sorry guys if I'm not as in tuned, I'm just doing something for Discord. I will try and stay on the most relevant car. As he gets a decent tow here, Hudso Joy on Woo Max in the Renault. Coming into the sector 3 now. There's purple in sector 2. Let's see what kind of lap time he can do, as Lewis looks to have left the session due to lag. I can't tell if he has crashed out or not. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's able to get back in and set a lap time for himself. Hopefully he can get out of Q1. As Hudso Joy comes round looking to set the very first lap for this Q1 session. Crosses the line and sets a 1:36.7. Let's see now if any of our current drivers actually on a lap can beat that time. As we have Rob Simracer setting a 1:38 and we have Urs setting a 1:35.5. Very good lap there from himself. We have Scotty coming around now into the sector 3. We have F1X Gen also setting a 1:34.5. Seems to be that there will be a few cars out in front with F1X Gen, Tin Can and JR Lattice all looking to have good pace today. We'll see what time Scotty can go around and set now, as he goes over the line and sets a 1:34.3. At the moment is currently on pole. Just by a 1/10 off F1X Gen there, but these two guys are out in front by a good bit now. Closest car to F1X Gen is a full second off him. We'll see now if these guys can better their laps, as we have Johnny Stokes on a outlap here. Also Booker Bronco, I think, actually coming around to set a lap. We also have Woo Max, who's just invalidated. We have Avi coming around. He set a purple sector 2, coming into sector 3 now. Let's see if he can better Scotty's time. I will just be back in a second, guys, to commentate on this very interesting qualifying. I just have to sort something out. Alright guys, I do apologise, I am back. I am still sorting out something for my other Discord league, but coming back to it, we still have Scotty on pole on the 135.3 with Johnny Stokes actually coming in to help his teammate in P3. We've both Mercedes on P2 and P3 at the moment. We'll go down here and see if we can keep with XL Tin Can is further ahead than JR Lattice, so we'll be able to see his lap, and we'll look and see what Lattice can set behind him as XL gets ready to go on his flying lap. And XL Tin Can has binned his lap there, coming into sector 3. We'll keep it Lattice now, as Can't Be Touched. That's a 133.9, sorry, I read that wrong. Setting a very much faster lap than Scotty there by a good few tenths, but they are teammates and they are in P1 and P2, which they will not complain about in the slightest. Let's see if Lattice can set a better time now here than Can't Be Touched, as he will be looking to do to secure his Drivers' Championship. We've Lattice setting a 133.3. Very good lap there from himself. And XL Tin Can setting a 133.7. So a good bit faster. Should be looking forward to a very interesting race here, as it is only Q1, but these lap times are very competitive. And it looks like we have a good battle ahead to look forward to, from P1 down as far as P5. And we also have a decent competition between down from P5 to P10 as well. All drivers setting very relative and close lap times. All drivers, to be honest, setting very good and competitive lap times. As we look down, Lewis still yet to, I think, rejoin the lobby. If not, he has DNF'd and is in the lobby and will be out of Q1, unfortunately for him. And we've Carl Frode as well, who has DNF'd by the looks of it, but setting a 137.9, which by the looks of it will not be enough to see him into Q2. See, we've got Hudso Joy out on a current lap. Just so I can see their lap data. He's coming into sector 3 now. Yeah, decent exit out of that corner there. Coming around looking to improve. It's a little bit wide on that corner. And coming across the line will set a 136.5, which will see him roughly stay where he is. Oh, and he's gone into the wall there, and he's retired. He is actually retired from the session, and he has dropped down to P14. If Max can get out and set a better lap, or if Booker Bronco can get out and set a better lap, he will not make it into Q2. Sorry about that, guys, I am back. And not much has changed at the minute. We've missed a Dutch face on a lap. He's currently in P8, which would see him into Q2. He's just gone purple in sector 2. Coming into the very treacherous sector 3, as I always say. See if he can set a better lap time and see him go up even further in the list. As we see Max invalidate his lap there, we have Mr. Dutchfish not setting a better lap, but will be good enough for Q2. And RPR Chubb has managed to appear, but will not get a lap to see himself into Q2. So all drivers that will be eliminated from this round will be Lewis Williams, RPR Chubb, Booker Bronco, Rob Sim Racer, Carl Fraud and Hudso Joy. They will all not make it into Q2. And we'll be going into Q2 now very soon. As to round out the top three, we have JR Lattice, we have XL Tin Can, and we have Can't Be Touched, all setting relatively good lap times there. And all very, very close, just within the same second. So we'll see how they get on. Now we're heading into Q2 now. We'll see what drivers will make it into Q3, the final qualifying before the race starts. It'll be very interesting to see what strategies these guys also implement for this track, as this track is very difficult to do a one stop on. I'm looking to see probably a few two stoppers. And we'll see how that affects the decisions now in this qualifying as to what tyres the drivers select on their first out laps. We'll probably see a few medium runners here. See if they actually qualify on the mediums. As it looks like there will be, two Red Bulls coming out of the pits at once, potentially maybe looking to tow each other around the track. Interesting to see if there's any cooperative teammate decisions between these two. We also have Al Judafa, who looks to be, yes, he is the very first car on track. We will stick with him and see what kind of lap times he'll be putting in. See if he can set the bar for this Q2. Let's see how high he sets it. So we have a few drivers all on out laps here. We have 5 drivers out on out laps at the minute. All spaced out as well. We have a Mercedes also coming out. Johnny Stokes also coming through. And now as Al Judafa gets ready to set himself up for his very first run in Q2. And as Al-Judif crosses the line, he sets a 1:35.7. Not as fast as some of our Q1 runners, but a decent lap to get us going here in Q2. We have Avi setting a 1:34.5, beating Al-Judif's time by a very big margin there. We have Arez setting a 1:35.2. Villeneuve coming around on the mediums on a 1:36.2. He'll probably be hoping that will be enough to see him into Q3, as I'm pretty sure on Q2 whatever tyres you use are the tyres you can actually start the race on. We've also Scotty coming around on these mediums here on his very first lap of Q2. Johnny Stokes setting a 1:39.4 on those mediums. Not the best run from him. He'll probably be looking to get another go at that lap, as mediums can roughly go around on any qualifying 2 laps. As Scotty sets a 1:35.3 on the mediums, very good lap time there on the mediums. He would probably look to stick that and see himself nicely into Q3. Oh, and we have Mr. Dutch. Yes, Mr. Dutch Face has just gone round there on the hairpin coming into the sector 2 straight there. He'll probably be looking to go back into the pits, get a new set of softs, and hopefully look to beat his time. Unless he was on. Oh no, he's on lean fuel mix by the looks of it, or low fuel, so he'll be going back to the pits anyway. Bexel Tin Can still in the pits, and we've Lattice on an out lap. We also have Johnny Stokes coming around on another lap. He set a 1:36.3, a lot better than his 1:39 lap. He'll probably be hoping that will be enough to see him into Q2. As we have F1 X-Gen coming around and setting a 1:34.4 on the mediums. Very good time from himself there. We'll stick with Lattice for now. See what kind of lap time he can set in on his sets of mediums. A few drivers opting for the softs, which is very interesting. Very interesting indeed. As Lattice there actually manages to invalidate his first go on those mediums, he will be able to get another go on it though. Mediums can obviously do 2 laps there on quali. We've also XL Tin Can on an outlap here, also on the mediums. He's coming behind Gerolatus. We'll look to see how these two fare on their mediums, who was actually the faster on the harder compound. With JR Lattice there setting a 133.4 on the mediums. I'm very sorry if I'm not as in tune. I'm trying to sort out things in my other Discord that I'm a part of. But very competitive laps there from JR Lattice and XL Tin Can, who are both, I would like to say, safely into Q3. We still have to see a lap from Motti Pertez and Wumax. And Wumax is coming around now on the softs, coming through this very treacherous sector 3. Lock up there from himself, looking to secure his place in the top 10 and get into Q3. And he goes over the line, and it's just not quite good enough. He may get around and get on the lap, I don't know, but it's just not good enough to see himself into Q3. Aljudifa just on the brink there. We have Mr. Dutchface also. We have Johnny Stokes now, who is under threat of not making it into Q3. He comes out on the softs looking to secure his place. We have Motti Pertez also on an outlap, and we have Villeneuve also coming out on an outlap to see if he can better his time and get into Q3. And Johnny Stokes does in fact better his time with a 1:33.7, and will see himself nicely comfortably into Q3. And Wumax has just retired from this session. Where has he gone off? He's gone off on what looks to be the start-finish straight. We'll see if we can get a look with Villeneuve's camera. No, it's been cleared. Unfortunately, we will not see how he actually managed to force his exit there. And Villeneuve has in fact just invalidated his lap, and he will not get a lap in time to see himself into Q3. And Aljudifa is under threat here. He's probably not going to get out in time and actually get a lap. No, he is not. So he will not be making it into Q3 as it stands. That'll round out Q2, sorry. That'll round out Q2, and by the looks of it, we will have Motti Pertez, Wumax, Villeneuve, and Aljudifa all not making it into the final qualifying for today's race. Thanks for all the support, guys, in the comments. It's really appreciated for my first time doing the commentary. And as for the best tyre strategy, I'm not sure, to be honest. I would think soft, medium, soft, but depending on Lattice and also XL Tin Can managing to set a decent qualifying lap there on the mediums, I would hopefully look to see them maybe do the medium, soft, soft, as I don't think you can get away with one set of mediums and a set of softs on this track. You've got Cannot Be Touched there also on F1 X Gen, also opting and getting out of Q2 with the mediums. So they will be looking to start on the mediums and play the longer game on them, and then go quicker down the back end of the race with the two sets of softs, I would like to think. But also, you can't take away from the guys that are outside the top 10 there. Free tyre strategy reign. They could maybe opt for the very grueling one-stop strategy around here with the hards to maybe the softs, or the hards to the mediums, depending on how aggressive they would like to be. We'll just have to wait and see what kind of strategies these guys will run. I would say most drivers will be looking at a two-stop strategy, as this track can be very grueling because it's a very long track, very grueling on tyres. And we're just getting ready now for Q3. Let's see who will actually be lining up on pole. Will it be Lattice? Will it be F1 X Gen? Or will it be XL Tin Can? We have a few cars here coming out on the outlaps. We have Scotty coming out on the softs, so Tin Can on the softs also, and F1 X Gen also coming out. Avi also coming out and taking a very adventurous line, trying to cut down the track so he doesn't wear as much tyre coming round. Which is a very interesting strategy, is you don't really, when you're cornering on this track, you tend to wear the tyres a lot. And most drivers don't want the high tyre wear going round. They'll also be looking to heat up their tyres to the maximum so they get the best performance out of them. Very interesting call from the comment section there from Lattice. Oh, sorry, not Lattice. Yeah, no, it is Lattice, sorry. Very interesting tyre strategy there. We'll look to keep with... who can we keep with? Keep with Mr. Dutchface for the start. I can't really tell who's actually out on there. Actually, no, we've got XL Tin Can, who is the lead car on track at the minute, looking to set the very first lap by the looks of it. We've also got F1 X-Gen following closely behind him, and he is also closely followed by Avi84 GT. As XL Tin Can goes purple in Sector 1 as to be expected. And as XL Tin Can comes around, oh, he has invalidated his lap there, unfortunately for himself. We'll take a look at F1 X-Gen C. Looks like he has also invalidated his lap. Yes, he has. He has invalidated his lap there. We also have Avi, who looks to have also invalidated. Yes, also invalidated. A lot of invalidations here at the moment. We have XL Tin Can, who's invalidated again by the looks of it. And Scotty sets the opening lap of Q3 with a 1:34.8 in the softs. Not as quick as a few of the top three. And J.R. Lattice there, just proving the point, setting a 1:32.7. Very good pace there. As XL Tin Can will be looking to reply back. He is probably going to get back to the pits as quickly as he can, set a new set of softs as you have less time in Q3 to get around and do laps. He'll be looking to get back and go on another pair of softs and hopefully take that top spot away from JRN from his perspective. All the drivers getting very competitive in the comments. We can't be touched in P2 at the minute with a 1:33.6. Not quite on pace with Lattice's time, but in a very good position if he can hold it there. Score some very good points in this finale for GP1. With that guy Axel as well, and he's going to probably look to get back to the pits and set another lap. We've also Mr. Dutchface, who I think is going to get back to the pits and all go back on to fresher softs and see if they can better their times to solidify their places up as high in the grid as they can for the best possible start position they can get. Vexel Tin Can in the pits. We have Avi on an outlap to set his first lap. We'll stick with him and see what he can do, as I'm pretty sure all the other drivers up in the top 5 who have all set their times will be looking to go back into the pits. As we have our other commentator that is meant to be here helping me on my very first commentary. He predicts a Booker win. An interesting call there. Interesting call considering the fact he will have to fight an awful lot to get up to Lattice and XL Tin Can. And obviously can't be touching that guy Alex. As we have Avi coming around now to start his very first lap on his set of softs. Let's see what he can do. See if he can put a dent into that JR Lattice pole lap. Very good manoeuvring through sector 1, coming into the sector 2 straight. He gets a good run at the straight now. It's very important in that hairpin to get as much straight line speed as you can coming out of that hairpin, if you want to set that very optimal pace on your lap. Comes into the tight left right. Very good line coming out of that now, coming into this little bit of a straight now before the Sector 3. Starting to practice now where I finish. You'll probably finish last. And coming into the Sector 3 now, Avi is on pace to set a very competitive lap. Looking to break into that top 5. As he comes round to this last corner here. Gets a good run. And yes, he will be into the top 5 in P3 with a 1:34.3. Very good lap from himself there. But nobody close as of yet to JR Lattice's lap time. We have Johnny Stokes on an out lap for his very first lap, and we also have XL Tin Can coming out. These guys will probably not get another go, so it's make or break for them here now. Anyone that is out on track now that hasn't set a lap time, this will be make or break for them at the moment. They need to make sure they're not invalid in. Stick with XL Tin Can as he goes purple in Sector 1. Looking to beat JR Lattice's time and put himself on pole, as these two are obviously fighting it out for the Drivers' Championship. They'll need every edge they can get. We'll be watching them very closely for this race, as all eyes are on them. We'll exit onto the last Sector 2 straight. Come on up to the Sector 3 now. He goes purple in Sector 2 also. Lattice probably a little bit worried at the moment, sitting in the pits. So we also have another lap time set there. F1 X-Gen putting himself into P3 with a 1:34 flat. Probably going to be pushed down into P4 now as it looks, with XL Tin Can setting a very good lap here. And it will not be enough to beat Lattice's time, as he does go purple in Sector 1 and 2, but cannot quite get the pace in Sector 3 to beat Lattice's time, and by quite a little bit as well. So by the looks of it, we'll be starting with JR Lattice on pole, XL Tin Can in second, Can't Be Touched in P3, Johnny Stokes in P4, F1 X-Gen in P5, Scotty in 6, Avi in 7, that guy Alex in 8th, Mr. Dutchface in 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Errors in 10th. Unless we have Mr. Dutchface actually on a lap here. We have also Scotty looking to prove his time. F1 X-Gen coming around, he has invalidated his lap and will not get another chance to improve on his time. We've Johnny still coming around. Cannot Be Touched has just gone purple in Sector 1. He's managed to come out and get out and maybe set a better time. We'll keep it Can't Be Touched since he's gone purple in Sector 1 and see if he can put himself on pole. Comes around now. There's a few cars in his way, it could hinder his lap here. Or could help either, he could get a decent little tow here now. Just to help him just squeeze across the line, see if he can better his time here. And he will not better his time enough to make it any higher than he is currently. The last car we will keep with is that guy Alex. He was on a lap here now. Will it be enough to push him any higher than P9? It looks very decent on the lap data. And he will push himself up another 3 places into P6. And that will round out the grid for a very exciting Grand Prix in Abu Dhabi for the final race of GP1. As you can see, they're all very close lap times. Top 2, top 3, relatively close. But the race isn't won in quali. The race is won by strategy and the pure drive of the actual race. So we'll see how these guys do in just a few minutes. Be very interesting now to see how we line up on grid with all the tyre selections, see what strategies even the people outside the top 10 will be going for, as their strategies will matter to see how long they can go and see if they can overcut a few drivers that have actually opted for the start on softs inside the top 10. As softs, to my knowledge, they don't necessarily last that long on this track. So it'll be interesting to see what these go as we start counting down now. As drivers start to finish off their last few tweaks onto their fuel loads and their tyre strategies. Will they opt to underfuel the car, hope for a safety car, and then go into lean and help their fuel loads? Or will they opt to maybe up the fuel loads and go very aggressive from the start on their first set of tyres? As we get ready now. We have the formation lap. We have Lattice on the mediums, starting on pole on the mediums. We've also XL Tin Can on the mediums. Cannot Be Touched on the mediums as well. All top 3 on the podium at the minute. All opting for the mediums for the start stint. We have Johnny Stokes closely behind on the softs. He will hopefully be looking to get a better start than these two and pull away and get a little bit of a gap on the top three. F1 X-Gen follow behind him on the mediums as they come round. They will have to warm these mediums a little bit more than Johnny Stokes. You mightn't see Johnny having to weave too much. The medium runners will look to get a few heat into their tyres. That guy Alex also on the softs. Anyone on the softs will be looking to get past the medium runners and get ahead of them before they will have to eventually pit. Mr. Dutchface also on the softs. We've Scotty on the softs, excuse me. We've Avi on the softs. Arizon also on the softs. Al Judith has opted for the mediums outside the top 10, so they'll be fresh mediums, not the ones that he originally qualified on. We have Valu also on the mediums. Wu Max on the mediums. Moti Pertez mediums. Hudso Joy mediums. Carlos opted for the hards, maybe trying to pull off a very difficult one stop. We'll have to see how that goes for him. Rob has opted for the mediums. Usually, from my knowledge of him, he does like a wee hard tyre strategy, but hasn't opted for it here, unfortunately. Booker Bronco setting the mediums. Lewis also setting the mediums, and to round out the grid we have RPR Chubb also running the mediums. So one hard runner, and everyone else outside the top 10 is starting on their fresh mediums. Be interesting to see how this strategy lines up for everyone. Just set up my spectator menu so I can actually see what's happening. I won't bother with the lap data for here as it's not quality, it's a race. We'll all want to be seeing the position changes. We'll look to keep up with the potential drivers champions, JR Lattis and XL Tin Can. As we start the countdown, 5 reds, and away we go. And the game has had a wee little glitch here. These guys aren't where they should be, but we'll see now. We have a very competitive opening now. Here we go, now it's fixed itself. We have Gerald is still leading out in front, 4/10 ahead of XL Tin Can come into the straight. Can he slipstreaming enough to close the gap coming into the corner? The F1 X-Gen falling very far off the grid, losing 3 positions to his start point. See if he can crawl that back. With RPR Chubb from 20th, he is very impressive, coming up to 15th in a very close battle with what would seem to be Wu Max. Both on medium runners, let's see how they fare. Into this treacherous sector 3, big lock up from RPR Chubb and goes very wide. All coming into this very difficult part in sector 3 now. There are blue flags going off like crazy, but they should not be going. A little bit of a glitch here from F1's perspective. Co-masters would need to fix their game, but sure, we have a new game coming out anyway. In little under a month's time. As RPR Chubb and Moti Perez on the first lap do pick up 3 seconds worth of penalties. Not ideal for the two lads trying to improve on their very poor qualifying. But we'll have to see how they go, as we're seeing a lot of position changes up here. No, we're not. This is just broken. Spectator menus are broken as well as the game, so to be expected. We still have JR Lattis out in front, followed closely behind by XL Tin Can. As we have a safety car, we have a McLaren off. Hudso Joy has DNF'd in the sector 1 by the looks of it. We'll see if we can get a look with Lewis. Lewis managed to get the very early pit stop. Maybe had a broken wing, maybe had it coming together. We will not get to see what actually happened to Hudso Joy. I'm guessing a coming together with a car, or maybe he just lost it himself coming around that very long right hand. They're very grueling. If you don't get it right, you can very easily lose the car from under you and head into the wall. And it is only a virtual safety car, so we should get back underway very quickly. As drivers will be looking to save as much fuel as they possibly can. Lewis Williams is very good behind us. Cal Frode also picks up a 3-second worth of penalties there. Not good for himself. Will impact his race come towards the end. Yeah, there's only 3 seconds worth of penalties as we're back underway now. We would like to think and hope that'll be the last incident of a safety car, but you never know. As all drivers will be looking to be competitive on this final race there. As XL Tin Can looks to keep up with Gerolatis. Can't be touched is also trying to keep behind, but he is not as close as he would like to be. He would like to be within 1 second to get that DRS. Johnny Stokes even further behind. He would also like to be in DRS range. It can't be touched, but there's a gap again to form between the top two and third all the way down, and there is a very close gap of cars here from 5th all the way down to 13th by the looks of it, as RPR Chubb is trying to climb from his 20th as he joined very late into the session. He started in 20th, he's looking to climb his way back up into the top 10. Very close car battles here now, we're looking to see. Aljudifa trying to catch up and get into that top 10 behind Ers. As Ers goes wide there, very wide. We have a good car train there from the Mercedes in 4th of Johnny Stokes back to the AlphaTauri of Scotty. There's a very good train going on there. Hopefully they can use that and maybe, just maybe, get enough to climb. We might see a few position changes there. Very interesting battles. As it looks to be, Gerolatis and XL Tin Can are very much running away with it up in P1 and P2. We'll see if we can move up here and see this what seems to be 4, 5, maybe even 6 car train. Hudso Joy has just left the session. Unfortunate for him, he DNF very early on the start of lap 2. He is unfortunately out of the race. Not the finale he was looking for. We have a yellow flag in sector 2 of an Alfa Romeo. Seems to be Rob Sim Racer having a issue, maybe just a little spin. Thankfully not enough to end his race prematurely. So we look to get back here and see if there's any close racing going on, as we have Mr. Dutch Face chasing down. We have a yellow flag in sector 2. It's a Mercedes of F1 X-Gen. He has gone and spun just before the very tight corners of sector 3. Very, very dangerous sector 3, especially if you're going in with 2 cars. Hopefully he can pull it back now and get back into the top 10. As we'll go back up now and see if we can keep with this very close battle between McDutchface and Johnny Stokes, as they're looking to crawl back up to Can't Be Touched, who is out in front of Johnny Stokes by 1.8. We have a few cars falling closely behind that guy, Alex, falling very closely behind McDutch, also behind him Avi. We have a 4-car battle going on here, very interesting. 4-car DRS train. Be very hard to catch because the DRS obviously keeps the car in front very much at risk. Johnny Stokes will be most under threat by DRS, as we can see here, closing the gap very much as he's coming up into the corner, but just not enough to actually get a move done. So far so good though. Only one driver so far fallen to the wayside to the DNF. Hopefully it can stay that way and we'll have a very competitive 19 car race. So we have a few position changes between Carl Fraud and Rob Simracer down at the back end of the race. Looking to keep up here with this 4-car train. We'll keep with that guy Alex as he is in the middle. We'll get a good view if there is a overtake now coming up into sector 1 and that back straight of sector 2, which is a very prominent place to get DRS and try for the overtakes. As we can see, all the tyre wears here, 5 laps for the softs. They'll be starting to get worn in very much so now. As at the minute we have XL Tin Cans hitting the fastest lap, as he is setting it very closely behind JR Lattis. Soft runners would have hoped to get only a bit overtake here. JR Lattis on XL Tin Can, we'll see what happens here now as Lattis tries to fight back, and he does manage to get his P1 position back. Very close battle between Tin Can and JR Lattis, but now JR Lattis has to pull away as XL Tin Can has to try and get the grip back into the car after having a little minor spin. He'll be looking to stay with him now until the end of the race. See if anything more interesting happens here coming up to the start finish straight with the P1 and P2. As he is going to get a very good run at him come up to sector 1 and sector 2. But Lattis just seems to be just the quicker out of that last few corners into the start finish straight, as he is very much so pulling away at the minute. As XL Tin Can tries to fight back as best as he can through the corners. As we can see, RPR Chubb is up into the top 10. Robson Racer there also picking up a 3-second time penalty. As XL Tin Can looks to get the DRS and looks to get a good run at Lattis here. Can he put him under enough pressure? Lattis locks up. Not enough pressure, unfortunately, to see a very interesting overtake maybe. As we can see, RPR Chubb down here, 10 positions, obviously started in P20, sorry. He's up into P10 at the moment. Very, very good racing from himself there, starting from the back, getting up into the point. As the track now starts to even out a little bit more, we still have a very interesting battle going on here from P4 down to P7, as that guy Alex gets the move done in Avi. We'll look to see if Avi can fight back, or Scotty can maybe overtake Avi here after the punched hole by that guy Alex. We've had Johnny Stokes stop so far. We've had Lewis and Booker Bronco also opting for the early stops, obviously under that virtual safety car, I would like to think. We've Mr. Dutchface has opted for the stop. He's gone on to the mediums now and is falling by the wayside, but will hopefully crawl back up. Go back up here and keep with Scotty, Avi and that guy Alex. That guy Alex pulling away from Avi at the minute. Not enough to not be within DRS ranges. With Scotty coming behind as well. A little bit of a lock-up. And they're out. Let's go back up to our race leaders. That guy Alex seems to be pulling away from Avi a little bit as Avi comes up behind him. We'll go back up to our race leaders here for a little bit. Axel trying to put the pressure on JR Latis, try to force any little mistake so he can get out in front. And as the race controller saying, his pit window is open on the mediums to the softs. Very interesting. As we have a yellow flag in sector 3, it is a Haas. I can't tell who that is. It looks to be Al Judifa has had a little bit of a problem in the start-finish straight. Fortunate for himself, he is dropping places. He's down into P10 as RPR Chubb has moved up to P5. Very big showing from him. He is charging through the line. We'll stick with him now for a little bit and see if he can get the move done on Ayres to get up into P4. A lot of the drivers, I would like to think, now have made their original stops. Johnny Stokes opting for the stop. Going on to, I would think, the mediums. Yes, the mediums, so he can have the softs on the back stint. So Mr. Dutchface opting for the mediums. That guy Alex also opting for the mediums. Avi, Scotty. So Lewis and Booker Bronco on the mediums as well. It'd be interesting to see when JR Latis and Excel Tinkan decide to go in. Will they go for the one-stop hards? Will they go for the two-stop softs? With RPR Chubb putting Ayres under a little bit of pressure here as he starts to cut his way through the line, cut his way through the field. He's been very aggressive on his mediums. Will be interesting to see where he goes as Ayres opts to go in for the mediums and get his stop out of the way as RPR Chubb gets up into P4 and looks now to start the very long chase down of Can't Be Touched as Mr. Dutchface just sets the new fastest lap with a 1:37.8 on the new mediums. We would like to think that that fastest lap will have another change as XL Tin Can and JR Latis are out in front. They will probably go onto the softs for their second stint. So we have JR Latis and XL Tin Can and Can't Be Touched coming up onto potentially their very first lap car in Booker Bronco. As these guys are being very aggressive on their tyres. XL Tin Can has to be to put the pressure on JR Latis. And Noiv also picking up another 3 seconds worth of penalties. And JR Latis is going in for the tyres now. We will see what sort of strategy they're going for. P11, lap 11, sorry, I will say. Let's see what tyres he opts for. Will he go for the softs or will he go for the hards? He's going for another set of mediums. Interesting. So he probably will go long on these mediums and save the softs for a very short stint at the end of the race. Interesting strategy call. If he can get another 11 laps, he'll go to lap 22 and then see out the last few laps on the softs. We'll see what XL Tin Can does to reply to that, as he will be able to see Gerolatus's tyre swaps. As you can see, 2 spaces back, I'm pretty sure, from P1. It'll be interesting to see, will he try and extend these mediums a little bit longer? Or will he just come in and go for the softs? As he is 10 laps on those mediums, so it'd be very interesting to see what happens. If he had any more extra stops. Nope, everyone so far has only stopped once. And everyone has opted for the mediums except Monty Pertez, who has gone on to the softs after his first stop, who is losing positions. Not very good for himself there on the softs, which are brand new. So we'll see now if XL Tinkan decides to come in. Nope, he is going to extend his mediums. Oh, and just has a slight little bit of oversteer, but is able to catch it in the end. The field now starts to even out a little bit. Oh, we've had a McLaren off to both McLarens, both suffering DNFs in the same similar place, and that will be a VSC. So both McLarens ending the races in very similar places. We'll see now if we can see what happened on the entry close enough to the corner. He has probably got wheel spin and binned it into the barrier. Unfortunate for him, but both McLarens are out of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And that will allow the front runners and everyone to save a little bit of fuel, conserve a little bit of tyre wear, and will hopefully have no more safety cars for the rest of this race, as that will help XL Tinkan to preserve his softs from his mediums for another lap potentially, as we see a drive through there for Carl Frode, which is not going to help him in his very doom and gloom P18. We have a few penalties. Can't be touched also has a penalty, 6 seconds worth of penalties for himself there, which will very much hinder him if he wants to stay up in the podium spots. As I'm pretty sure he still has to make a stop. Yes, he does still have to make a stop. And I don't think... No, it doesn't look like he is out. He hasn't built a pit stop window on the cars behind. So that 6 seconds will be very hinderful to him coming towards the end of the race. We have XL Tinkan still on his very first set of mediums. I can't see how he will go for anything more than the softs at this point now and do the 2-stop soft stint, as his mediums will surely be on their last legs. Can't be touched, trying to keep with XL Tinkan. It'd be interesting to see if these two go in at the same time. And I would like to think at this point, if they've stayed out this long on their sets of mediums, they will both be looking for the 2-stop soft strategy. As Gerolatus is making up some significant ground on the front two after putting on his very fresh mediums. Yellow flag in sector 3. That was Carl Frode having a little bit of a spin coming out of that sector 3. Looks to be a broken wing, which he may have to go in and pit for. Can't exactly tell at the moment. It doesn't look too bad. It Can't Be Touched, who has come in and gone on to the softs, as he is going to drop down into P5. Will he drop down any further? P5 is where he'll come out, so not a very bad call from him. He's only lost 2 positions to his original start point, but those 6 seconds of penalties will be hard to make up the ground for. Luckily he is on the softer compound as to most drivers today. Yes, everyone else, he will hopefully be looking to cut through the field, as the mediums will be nowhere near as competitive as the softs. We still have XL Tin Can out on his original mediums, keeping a 10-second gap to Geralatis as we have a yellow flag in sector 2. We have a retirement from Lewis. Let's see if we can see what happened here. He's had, it looks to be a very aggressive crash, maybe a lock-up. He's gone into the barrier and has lost his front left wheel, and that is our 3rd driver out of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Unfortunate to him. Commiserations to Lewis. Unfortunately couldn't go much longer in this Grand Prix. XL Tin Can still staying out in the mediums, going for a very long starting stint on these mediums. He may be looking for the 1-stop. I somehow doubt it though. I can't see how he'll get. I can't see the softs going for any more than 10 laps on this track, and if he's looking for that, he will need to get to at least lap 18. 3 more laps on these mediums. And Lattice is gunning him down, shredding the time in front. We've Can't Be Touched also trying to shred down the time onto Lattice with the fresh softs. It'll be very hard for Mr. Mick Dutchface, I should say, and Johnny Stokes to keep up with Can't Be Touched on those fresh softs with their, I would say, midway gone mediums. They're at the midpoint now. We have a position change there. Avi and Alex looking to fight it through sector 3, coming very close together, no touching, very clean racing, as that guy Alex looks to get the better, and he does get the move done. As we have Scotty also attacking Avi on the inside, and Scotty and Avi have spun there, both managing to keep the car on the track. I think Scotty was trying a very aggressive move on Avi, and Avi just probably didn't see him and just about closed the door on him. But both drivers managing to keep it on the track and stay in the race. And they both have lost a significant amount of time to that guy Alex in front, which he will not be complaining about as he looks now to go on the charge and hunt down Johnny Stokes and Mick Dutchface. We've also got Lattice up here, who, since we last looked, was on 7.9 seconds deficit to XL Tin Can, has now started to shred that down to 4.4 as we have another yellow flag. A Ferrari of Motti Pertez. Accident seems to be a very familiar place to the last accident with Calf Road, as he goes in and looks to have very bad wing damage. Very slow into the pit lane, very cautious. It seems to be the sector 1 right-hander has caught 3 cars, and the sector 3 last corner, last kind of straight in sector 3, has caught 2 drivers. They're the 2, looks to be choke points for the 2 drivers, as XL Tin Can, I would think now at this stage, is looking for the medium to soft 1-stop. It's very hard to see why he would have stayed on these mediums for that long if he is not looking for the 1-stop. As Can't Be Touched does cross the line and sets the fastest lap at a 1:36. I would like to think XL Tin Can would look to beat that and take home even more points to try and secure his Drivers' Championship. As we've had another incident in Sector 3, this time on the start-finish straight with a... Is it the racing point? Yes, it is a racing point. DNF for Calfrode, unfortunate for him. He is out of the race, unfortunately. It seems to be Sector 1 seems to be catching a lot of people out. I would have thought Sector 3 would be a little bit more catching people out, but it seems to be Sector 1 maybe struggling for grip. Grip levels do tend to deteriorate a lot in Sector 3. Maybe Sector 1 is the part where they may be experiencing some wheel spin and maybe losing their cars. As these guys are on no assist, it's very difficult once you have very high tyre wear to avoid wheel spin and to counter wheel spin. As XL Tinkan is looking to come in now. It'd be interesting to see now, is he going to go for the softs? Or what is his plan? As Lattice now will look to stretch out in front and get a furry. He will be looking to get a pit window on him, because obviously he can't see out the race on these mediums, because he did start on the mediums, so he will have to stop again and stop for the softs, I would presume. So we'll see if he can get bridge the gap, which will be very hard to do now, considering that Can't Be Touched is on the fresh softs. And we've XL Tinkan also on the fresh softs. So this will be very hard for Lattice to build up a significant time margin to get a pit stop. We have a lot of penalties going on. We have Villeneuve with 11 seconds, Robson Racer with 12 seconds worth of penalties. Can't Be Touched with 9 seconds worth of penalties, so it'd be very hard to see him keeping that P2 if potentially P1 position with 9 seconds worth of penalties. Johnny Stokes on his 10 lap old mediums. Be interesting to see where he comes in. I would like to say maybe lap 20 is when he will come in and maybe see out the last 8 laps on the fresh softs. Maybe go for a fastest lap. XL Tinkan has picked up 3 seconds worth of time penalties, as he has just passed a lapped car there in Monty Pertez. Monty Pertez will probably look to stay behind and see if he can stay in DRS range to help his very big gap to Rob Sim Racer. Probably unrealistic to catch, but he will try his hardest. As XL Tinkan, that 3 seconds will not help him whatsoever, especially if he is planning to go long on these softs. Lattice will look to get a very significant time out of the softs towards the back end of the race. So we have Johnny Stokes here coming in for the softs, looking to see out the race on these softs. He'll be looking to see out them for the remainder of the race, which will be 9 laps roughly. We've also that guy Alex coming in for the mediums. Interesting enough call. We've also Villeneuve, who I'm pretty sure started on the hards at the start of the race. So no, he didn't. He came in for the hards. He's only been on them for 4 laps. Obviously not confident in the softs making it to the end, as he did start on the mediums, I'm pretty sure. So he's not confident on the soft, so he's gone to the hards. Interesting decision. Lattice is going to make the call now and come in for the softs. Very interesting. Let's see now if Can't Be Touched and XL can get out in front. XL will be seeing out the race, as we have Monty Pertez also losing it again in Sector 3, and this time will be out. And it's a full safety car. Lattice has come in at the right time, and they're not going to build up enough of a gap to keep Lattice out of the contention for P1. Obviously, Axel Tinkham will need to put 3 seconds on to make sure Lattis doesn't take his position, and Can't Be Touched will need 9 seconds to keep his position. But this will work out for Can't Be Touched as he is on 5 lap old sauce, but this safety car will probably not come in until maybe lap 21 if not 22, which will extend his softs and not wear them as much, so he will probably be able to save the race on these sets of softs, unless he decides to come in at the end of this lap. It'll be interesting to see what Can't Be Touched does if he goes in for the softs and maybe tries to set a faster lap, bring home an extra point. Most drivers have stopped under the safety car and put on the softs for this last few laps of this Grand Prix. Al Judifa also in the pits, also Wumax in the pits, I'm guessing, to go onto this soft compound, which yes they are. Safety car has given these guys a chance to get back up all together. Really nice, really close. Villeneuve also has not opted to come in. He will be at a significant disadvantage on those hards compared to the fresh soft runners. As Rob Simracer also makes the call to come in for the fresh set of softs and hoping to get back up bunched together. Can't Be Touched has also decided to come in. Interesting, he's coming for the fresh set of softs, obviously not confident that his set will make it to the end of the race, and puts on a new set. Dutchface is not going to be in range to catch Cannot Be Touched to overtake him under the safety car, as he also comes in and is going to set the softs even though his mediums are only 1 lap old. So these guys are all going to be on relatively close compounds, relatively close wear tyres for the remainder of the race. It'll be interesting to see how many position changes actually do occur. As RPR Chubb now started a P20, very good race from him, 12 positions gained, sitting in P8 on, I would like to think they are fresh softs. Yes, they are fresh softs. Maybe look to go on the charge, maybe even get up into the podium places, which will be a very impressive performance from himself. As the race leader is with the safety car at the minute, and all cars will be looking to catch up. As these back 4 runners in Rob Simracer, Wumax, Al Judifa and Villeneuve all have a fair bit of catching up to do before they do eventually catch the safety car, as does Erez. It'll be interesting now to see what lap this safety car comes in. I predicted 21 or 22. It may not come in until 23. But I would like to think 22 would be the lap that it would come in. As the drivers start to warm their tyres, just to make sure they have the best possible temperatures, as they will look to have a very good exit, especially Lattis and Tinkan. As Tinkan does have the 3 seconds, he will have to make that up if he is looking to secure P1 and secure the Drivers' Championship. Can't underestimate also Can't Be Touched, Johnny Stokes, Avi. They will all be very closely bunched together for the safety car restart. Anything could happen on the safety car restart. Hopefully now no more drivers DNF. Hopefully we will not have another safety car towards the end of this race. Everyone bar Villeneuve, Judifa, Wumax and Rob Simracer are basically with the safety car now. Safety car will probably come in this lap or maybe next lap. considering the fact now that everyone on the grid is near enough to the safety car, except poor Rob Sim Racer, who is very, very far away at the moment, looking to crawl his way back. I would like to think that the safety car will come in this lap. The drivers are looking to predict when the safety car will come in, as they can get as much heat as they want into the tyres. We'll keep with Exelting and to see if the lights go out for the safety car. Which they have not yet. So it looks like we will have another safety car lap. Yes, it looks like it's very unlikely that the safety car will put out his lights now, so we will have another lap under the safety car, which will give Rob Sim Racer plenty enough time to catch back up. He should be back to the pack with this lap. While this is going on, I'm just going to quickly take a toilet break. And we are back for a very competitive last few laps, as this safety car will hopefully go in, as Rob Sim Racer is still unfortunately struggling to make it back up to the pack. 0 lap old softs. He may have opted for another stop by the looks of it. I'll have to check here. 3 stops, yes, I would like to think that's... I would like to think, yeah, that's another stop by the looks of it. So he will not be with the grid for the safety car restart by the looks of it, which I'm pretty sure. Yes, the safety car lights have gone out, and Exelting has already started to back up the pack and control the pace for the safety car restart. Rob Sim Racer may... Yes, he will make it back to the pack, as the Exelting is slowing down the pack very much for him. Yes, here he is now, back to the pack. And has not has not had an accident, as he looked to be on the minimap. Very rapid coming up to the pack there. As we look to get set to get underway, Lattice trying his best to hinder Exelting warm up of his tyres. Looking to get the best possible exit, looking to predict when Exelting will put the hammer down and go. I predict out of this corner he will go. Which, here he goes now. He does seem to get a decent restart here. And look to put the 3 seconds time. He hasn't got any more, yes. 3 seconds is his time penalty. He will need to put that on JR Lattice, which will be very tough considering Lattice is on the fresher softs. As we keep with them now, he gets a decent exit onto the straight, as Lattice is chasing him down. No DRS obviously because of a safety car restart. It will not come back until I'm pretty sure the lap after. As Lattis looks to get a go on the inside, bails out of it as there is not enough room, and will comfortably just sit behind him and wait. So we have a very close battle back here, maybe 4 or 5 car train here. RPR Chubb looking to fight his way back up into the top 5 after a very brilliant start from P20. And Robson Racer has managed to make up a place on Woomax. He's up 3 positions from where he started. A very decent race from himself. After being so far behind, safety car has definitely helped him regain momentum. Very tightly contested few battles here. This will be a very interesting last few laps here in this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. As that guy Alex is still running on the mediums and still managing to keep Abby, Scotty and RPR at bay. That can't be touched. JR Lattis and XL Tinkan are fighting it out for the podium positions. Can't be touched. Will need to build a 6-second gap on Johnny Stokes to keep that position. Otherwise Johnny Stokes will be on the podium instead of him. We do have another 3-second time penalty there from Mick Dutchface. That will hinder his time at the end of the race. But with the drivers around him, it will not hinder him enough to lose a position. He may even gain a position on RPR Chubb, who does have 6 seconds worth of time penalties. As Ayres picks up another 3 seconds worth of time penalties. And I just want to quickly look and see, at the moment, will P2, or will P1 be even enough for Lattis to win it? I'm pretty sure it will, but I just want to double check. JR Lattis needs a 5-point increase over Tin Can, and as he gets the move done and looks to storm ahead, because XL Tin Can looks to fight back now, does get a good run, does get his DRS open. Very close together through here now. Very clean racing from these two boys. Very close battle for this Drivers' Championship. As XL Tinkan does get the better exit and does keep P1 for now. Yes, so if Lattis finishes first, which is looking likely at the minute, unless XL Tinkan can pull out a miracle and pull 3 seconds ahead, it will be Lattis crowned as our GP1 Drivers' Champion. But Lattis, I know, will look to finish on track in P1. As you can see here, with him very tightly contesting XL Tinkan, trying to force any mistake possible. And he will get a run at him here. The DRS train open, as Can't Be Touched is following closely behind. And he has faked it, he's gone for the outside unfortunately not able to get the move done there. Very good racing from XL Tinkan to hold his position. As Lattice is coming again, weaving on the outside there now, and does manage to get the move done. Tinkan picks up another 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Unfortunately for him, that pretty much wraps up this race, and JR Lattice will be crowned our GP1 Drivers' Champion this season. Unfortunately, commiserations to XL Tinkan, the penalties have hindered him, but that is racing at the end of the day. Unless for this last lap Lattice has an issue or crashes, we pretty much have confirmed our Drivers' Champion. As the last lap comes now, RPR Chubb has fallen down into P9. Close battles here between Chubb, McDutchface, Scotty and Avi. As Scotty does look to get a move done on Avi and does complete it. Will Avi try to fight back into the corner? McDutchface does look to come behind. Does not get a move done there, and Scotty does pull away. As McDutchface may get a move done here coming into the sector 3. Tight corners, goes down the inside and does not get a move done. Very good defence there from Avi, very good to come through. As Johnny Stokes is falling close behind and will in fact, oh no, he will not. It'll be that guy Alex at this moment in time on the podium that will follow XL Tinkan. And as we cross the line, congratulations to JR Lattice, our GP1 Drivers' Champion for this season. Back-to-back Drivers' Champion, as he was the Drivers' Champion last season. And that should, yes, that confirms that Williams Racing also will take home the Constructors' Championship for this season. Congratulations to all drivers on track today. Unfortunately, commiserations to the 4 to 5 drivers I think that did not finish, and RPR Chubb rounds out the driver of the day deservedly from P20 all the way to P, I want to say 9. I didn't get a close look there at the end as we have the ceremonies. Lattice bringing home another race trophy and bringing home the Drivers' Championship and Constructors' trophies respectively. As we see now, we round out this with a final look at the standings for this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Yes, we have JR Lattice in P1, Alex P2, Stokes P3, Tinkan P4, Scotty 5, Avi 6, Dutchface 7, Can't Be Touched 8, Chubb 9, Aljudafa 10, F1X Gen 11, Viluv at 12, I can't pronounce your name, I'm sorry, I've butchered it many times, Robson Reyes at 13, Max 14, Ayers 15, Monty Pertez 16, and yes, from Monty Perez down we've had all DNF, so five drivers all DNF, and commiserations to them a lot. But that wraps up this season of GP1. Goodbye.